Okay, this is a video to let my world religion students know what things to assemble and how to study for papers 1 and 2 for world religions. This is an old paper 1, and paper 1 covers the 6 religions that we spent the first semester largely talking about. Normally, you have a situation like this. You have an hour and 15 minutes. You have 3 sections. You answer a total of 5 questions, and with at least 1 from each section, right? So this year, because of COVID and schools not having as good of instruction, it's going to be shortened to 45 minutes. So that's about 15 minutes of test right there, because these are short. It's going to be shortened to 45 minutes, and you'll only answer 3 questions. But that means you have to answer 1 from each section. So let's look here. Section A are South Asian religions. So there's Hinduism, which you should be able to answer. Let me just say some more about that. So the first question, remember, it's a little box, right? But it's 3 marks, and this is where you want 3 distinct points referencing the actual quote. Then move on. The second question about the quote is here, and you see that's not much space either. Now, it says not to mark outside this space, but if you want to write more, and I urge you to do so if you feel you need to, please ask for additional paper. You can get that. But people have made 7s on this test by limiting themselves to this. So, oh, by the way, so this year there will be 5 minutes where you cannot pick up a pen. There'll be 5 minutes that you can read over the test before they start the 45-minute timer. So you'll have time to look at the questions, decide which ones you're going to pursue. This says 7 marks, but again, that doesn't mean, for the second question, it doesn't mean 7 distinct ideas. It's more like a little tiny essay, right? Just download as much knowledge as you can relative to the question from the 3-question sheet, right? So that's Hinduism. There's Buddhism, and you should be able to answer that question. Then, of course, there's a Sikhism question, which you won't know, but that's okay. You've got 2 choices in this section. And then the second section, section B, are the Abrahamic religions, and you'll have to answer 1 from this section. And Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, you should all be equipped to answer. So good choices there. Now, section C are 3 smaller religions: Taoism, Jainism, and Baha'i. You only will be equipped to answer the Taoism question, so you must answer that question in that section. That's not a problem. My students have always said they thought that they were well equipped to answer the Taoism question. It was the last thing we covered, but just remember that in your study. You're going to have to answer this question. And this question is really easy. It's about Wu Wei, and y'all could crush that question. So, all right, how do I study for this? Well, you should have 6 3-question sheets. If you do not, I am posting them shortly here on completed sheets at the bottom of the last module on Canvas, so you can still have them. Judaism, I'm not going to go over everything it says, but if you know everything on the sheet, then you don't have to do any additional work. And all you need to study the night before is the 6 3-question sheets. By the way, notice that Judaism, which kind of doesn't fit very well in the 3-question format, there's some stuff on the back too, right? And Christianity fits really well and is very straightforward. Islam also fits very well and is very straightforward. Oh, and I do think you should be prepared to memorize and deploy the vocabulary on these sheets, whether it's Sanskrit or Arabic or whatever. I think that is impressive. I think that would impress an examiner. Buddhism and Hinduism, a lot of Varnashrama Dharma, and of course Taoism, which also is kind of loosey-goosey, doesn't fit as well in the 3-question format, so there's a back to that. Yeah. So you might also, for Taoism, consider, since all the quotes before the questions for every Taoist test I've ever seen was a quote from the Tao Te Ching, except one, which was from Zhuangzi, and it was the empty boat, which was your test. So you might go back and look at those short videos that I made where I explicate a couple of verses from the Tao Te Ching, and I did the empty boat as well. That might be worth reviewing if you're a little unsure. So that is how you prepare for paper 1. Now, paper 2, let's look at a paper 2. Yeah, here we go. Go to the top here. So normally paper 2 is an hour and 30 minutes, and you have to answer 2 questions. You answer 1 question from section A and 1 question from section B. This year, so that's about 45 minutes a question. This year, they're shortening the test to 45 minutes, but you only have to answer 1 question. So how does that help me, you at? Well, they're giving you, again, more choices. So you're going to have a lot of choices. So let's look at this paper 2. They won't all be this favorable to us, but section A is, here's section A. There's 7 questions. 2 questions each for Hinduism, Buddhism, and Sikhism. You're going to focus on Buddhism, because that's what we did. That's the in-depth unit we did, though we didn't spend very long on it. I think you'll find yourself well equipped. So let's look this year. Oh, by the way, so you can answer one of the 2 Buddhism questions, or there's an open-ended question you can answer for any of the 3 religions. So that means there are really 3, 4, and 7, 3 Buddhism questions, and so you have a choice. That's the importance of the 3 jewels to lay Buddhist. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. Y'all can do that. Examine the meaning and importance of the principle of karma within Buddhist ethics. Well, gosh, y'all should do that. Good to be able to do that. And with reference to one religion, in this case Buddhism, discuss the importance of overcoming clinging to the self. Wow, y'all can do that too. So good choices. So normally you would pick one of these and move on. However, this year you can ignore all 3 of these and focus on section B, which is the Abrahamic section. Don't do Christianity or Judaism thinking, I know those really well. No, you don't. You don't know them from a paper 2 perspective. Trust me. Go to Islam. Of course, there's 2 Islam questions and an open question. Let's look at them. Islam is discuss how communal prayer, salat, by Muslim women is affected by gender. Well, that's on one of your that's on your theme 2 organizer. Examine how Hajj can be a unique communal and personal religious experience. I think you could do that. With reference to Islam, assess the origins and authority of its sacred text. Wow. Those are all 3 good questions. So you could pick one of those. Or if you prefer one of those Buddhism questions, you only have to answer 1 question on this test this year. So you're really lucky. What am I going to study for Buddhism, you ask? For paper 2. Well, you've got, for Islam, you've got an organizer of the most important information for theme 1, theme 2, theme 3, and theme 4. You will study those, and if you know what's on there, have internalized that, then that should be all you need to study. You might also review the reflection questions for all the reflections you did for Islam and recently for Buddhism. Those are paper 2 questions. You might also, let me see if I can find this. In Buddhism, yeah, here we go. When we did Buddhism, not this last week, but we did Buddhism in the fall, I did a number of guided notes, a number of organizers like this. Here was one, Intro to Buddhism. Here was another one that really unpacked the Dharma and explains no self. And so I would pull all those together and assemble those and review those as well as the organizers we did for Buddhism this last week or so. And I think if you do all that and make sure you've got make sure you know your 3 question sheets and organizers, then that should be all you have to review the night before the test, and you should do very well.